think there's anything better than one-on-one. Like, you just can't. There's so many moms who are afraid they can't do it because they're not educated. It doesn't matter. Like, you just learn with them. But just when you have someone who's willing to work with you one-on-one, you feel important. You feel like you're worth someone giving their time to, and they want to be with you. So I just think that relationally is huge.
Hi, welcome to the Zan Tyler podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zan Tyler podcast, where our goal is to help you thrive in your homeschool journey. Let me take just a minute to ask you to please subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen or watch, including YouTube. And if this podcast has been helpful to you, please leave us a good review. Each review really helps. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well. You know, I love doing this podcast for so many reasons, but one is because it gives me the opportunity to introduce you to people who love their kids and love homeschooling. I hope this encourages you as much as it does me. Today we have Ginger Wayde with us. Ginger is the grateful wife of Steve and mom to 6 amazing people. She's been homeschooling for 18 years and has about 8 years to go. Ginger says that homeschooling has shaped and changed her in ways that nothing else could. Besides learning along with her children, Ginger serves on the CHAP board, which is the homeschooling organization in Pennsylvania, hosts the weekly podcast, Chatting with CHAP, and directs stage productions for the local co-op where they live. We have so much to learn from each other. So stay tuned. I think you're really going to be encouraged. This podcast is brought to you by BJU Press Homeschool. Homeschooling is an exciting adventure we take with our children. One of the most challenging parts of this journey is choosing the curriculum you want to use. BJU Press Homeschool is a curriculum you can trust. All the books, resources, and videos have been designed with you and your child in mind. Their curriculum is educationally robust and rich, taking into account that children have different learning styles, strengths, and needs. Mom, you are in charge. BJU Press Homeschool is here to come alongside and support you. Do you need help with the teaching load, or is there a subject you just don't want to teach? Their amazing video courses are available for all grades and almost every subject. BJU Press Homeschool believes that homeschooling can produce a new generation of students who know God, love their neighbors, and stand firm in their faith. For more information, go to bjupresshomeschool.com. That's bjupresshomeschool.com. Ginger, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you, Sam. I'm so glad to be on your show. This is great.
So tell us a little bit as we get started about your family and your journey into homeschooling, how you got started.
Okay, so I'm married to Steve, and we have 6 children, and the oldest is going to be 23, and the youngest is 10. And I guess the way we got into the homeschooling journey is we got into natural childbirth. And then our natural childbirth instructor was crunchy and did all the things. So we were like, oh, so then we kind of started looking into it from there. But then my husband he works at a college in the IT department. And he had a student who worked there who was homeschooled. He was a college student, but he was homeschooled and really had his stuff together. So we were like, what is up with this? So we talked with him and kind of learned about it a little bit. And then he's the one who actually pointed us to CHAP. And
Okay, tell us what CHAP is real quick. Some people won't know.
CHAP is the Christian Homeschool Association of Pennsylvania. So it is the main homeschooling organization in the state of Pennsylvania. And they have, all kinds of resources for homeschoolers. But we got connected with their annual homeschool convention. And we started going when our oldest was 3.
Oh, that's amazing. What a glorious thing for those of us who had no warning about homeschooling.
Well, we were planners and we took full advantage of the whole thing, but yeah, so we just, sponges, taking in all the information. And I think between my social experience in school and Steve's educational experience in school, the two of us were kind of like, forget this. This is ridiculous. This homeschool thing is an option. And then honestly, once we got to those conventions and started hearing the biblical worldview and the biblical reasons for doing it and biblical parenting and all the stuff we weren't getting taught anywhere else, God grabbed a hold of our hearts and obviously has never let go because it just is our passion. It just totally like this is the thing. This is the thing for us. And yeah, 18 years. We just finished a 18-year.
18 years, that's
Mhm.
amazing, and about 8 more to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a journey. So tell me, once you got started, why you continued to homeschool. What do you think are the benefits that are so strong that you're willing to embark and continue on this journey?
Well, fortunately, I mean, I'm a passionate person, so God got me right where in the seat of my passions, right? Oh. So he just put it in there. He just set it right in the center of my heart, and I just wanted connection with my kids. I wanted to be close to my kids, and I remember having a discussion with my sister-in-law, and her oldest is about the age of my second oldest. And she went back to work, and she's like, "I just don't think I can go back to work." And I was just like, "You don't have to. You don't have to." Like, and I just couldn't. I didn't want my babies to go anywhere. I wanted my babies to be close to me, and I that was what kind of one of the things that just kind of, yeah, let's do this thing because I would be close to them. I think definitely what kept us going when it got real, like when you're like, "Oh my word, where's the bus?" Which
Yeah.
just, um, it was a mandate. God just said, "This is what you're gonna do." And I mean, we had discussions with some of our kids who were like, "I want to go to public school," and we're like, I'm sorry. God God has not said, "Yeah, sure, send them to," this is where he has put us, and we just kinda dug our heels in and went with it, and actually, those who wanted to go to public school have since come back and said, "You know what? Thank you. Thank you for not. It was the best decision," and that was yeah, those are the things I'm telling you, those people who, like, homeschool when the kids are little and then put their kids in in school when they're older, don't do it because that's when you start to
You're
see.
missing the best
I
years.
know, that's when you start to see the fruit of all the toil. There's
Yes.
so much toil when they're young, and, like, now it's
That's
great, like, to have these great conversations, these deep conversations, sometimes about the Bible, sometimes about history, whatever, and we're willing to share. They're willing to share with me about anything, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. It's been really great. I've learned from them, they learned from me, we learned together. It's just been amazing. I have no idea what your question was, but hopefully that hopefully that answered it.
No, we were just talking about the benefits of the journey, but I'm so glad you mentioned that about high school. And now you've had your fair share of teenagers
Mhm.
with 6 children, and the one thing that always this is just a warning, and then just an admonition to really enjoy it, I guess, is teenagers usually want to talk at inconvenient times, and it's usually like 11 o'clock at night. So right when, of course, I'm a night owl, so I'm not sure I've ever been to bed at 11, but right when you're winding down from the day and everybody's getting in bed, we would find the teenagers on the bed with us. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, Joe would look at everybody sitting on the bed and say, am I the only person in this family who has to get up and work in the morning? But those are such special times, but that was when it would always the best discussions, it seemed like, happened then.
Absolutely, absolutely. Steve and I are both like, "Let's go to bed at 9." I mean, Steve is like, "The sun went down. I'm going to sleep," right? It's like 4:30 in the wintertime, right?
Yeah.
So, but we have a night owl and I think a budding night owl, and I tell you what, I mean, they didn't talk a lot. So when they got ready to I mean, it didn't matter. I didn't even look at the clock. I didn't even think about the thing. I just, you gotta zone in on the kid and you have to have that conversation because you just don't know when it's gonna happen next. You have to take the opportunities when they come.
So tell me about educationally why you think homeschooling is a good choice. You've had 6 kids, you've probably had all kinds of learners, you've things you've had to work through. So tell me what you've learned about the educational advantages of homeschooling.
Oh my goodness, there's so many, but, I don't think there's anything better than one-on-one. Like, you just can't use there's so many moms who are afraid they can't do it because they're not educated. It doesn't matter, like, you just learn with them. It just when you have someone who's willing to work with you one-on-one, it just you feel important. You feel like you're worth someone giving their time to, and they want to be with you. So I just think that relationally is huge. Also, you have that opportunity to really pay attention to how it is they learn. Like you said, different ways of learning. I've had to really learn that. I mean, I was good at school, like you were saying earlier to me, like, I was high in my class and, I learned well, I was 5th in my class. So, and I, graduated with all the honors and all this stuff. So I had to unlearn all of that when I started to homeschool. It's different. And now it's taken me, I remember first telling people, it's taken me 15 years to unschool myself. I'm at 18 now and I'm getting
This
better.
true. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there have been kids who have challenged the way that I teach because it didn't work for them. Whether they realized they were challenging or not. To me, I realized, oh my goodness, this is not working. I need to do something different to help them feel like they can learn and they are learning. So the benefit there is I have been able to fine tune thing. I have been able to say, you know what, don't worry about finishing that. Don't just put that to the let's try this a different way. Or, you don't have to follow exactly like, the high school says earth science, biology, chemistry, physics, don't worry about that. We're going to do what interests you. I had a student who loves soldering and electronics. So it's science as much as anything else. So, really been able to focus on those types of things. And honestly, just the core, the heart of it is the heart. It's the character. And there's no better way. There's no better way than spending day in and day out every hour with your children, not only for their sake, but for mine. It has homeschooling has grown me in a way that nothing else could have done. I mean, you know what? And you get married and you realize, I'm a pretty selfish person and I have to work. Like, well, then you have one child and then you're like, and then you have another, then you have another. And my joke was kind of like, I had to have 6 children to get all the selfish out, and I'm still not all gone. So there has been so much growth in me because of homeschooling, and I love what God is doing. I love what He's doing in me. I love what He's doing in my children, and honestly, I wouldn't see it if it either wouldn't be happening if my children weren't with me, or if it was happening, I wouldn't be seeing it and being involved with it. And there's nothing more precious than that.
Yes, sort of being a witness to their lives in some ways. I mean, it's just really it's really
Yeah.
special. It's really special.
Mhm.
So, what are some of the fun things y'all did together as a family?
So field trips, of course, are always fun. So we love traveling and seeing fun sights together. One of the things that that we're going to be doing this year that my kids love to do, we love food. We're kind of foodies. So we're doing some geography and doing meals from the states. So I don't know how accurate all the meals are from the different states because the ones for Pennsylvania, we were like, what are those meals? Maybe they're from Pittsburgh area. I don't know, but they're not familiar to me as being Pennsylvania Dutch. But anyway, so fun things like that, like really diving.
I need to send you some grits.
Yeah, perfect. What I've got some. Well, so yeah, fun things like that. We just times to build. My kids love to build. So just giving them times to like we were studying astronomy and they did a Mars something or whatever and totally turned my living room upside down and inside out into a Mars colony. And whatever. And just giving them the freedom to create. We're all creative people in my house, whether it be music or art or whatever. So having that time and that space and the multiple ages together, um, those are some of my very specialist, happiest times. We do a lot of games together through learning. I love like in winter, it's like game Friday. Like we do co-op on Fridays, but when it gets into December, there's no class. So we do cookies and games. And those are our homeschool days on Fridays during the Christmas season. And those are some of my favorite times too, because they're I mean, we're still connected, we're still building relationship. And it's schooling on the side, don't tell anybody, but
Yeah, that's right. All of those
yeah.
things are learning
Yeah.
experiences, and we want our kids to be lifelong
Mhm.
learners. And I think that's one of the things that happens
Mhm.
when you enjoy each other through the learning
Mhm.
process like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So so now you also are involved with the Christian Home Educators Association of Pennsylvania. Did I get that right? CHAP. So tell me how you got involved in homeschool leadership and why you think that's been an important part of your journey.
Okay, so I said earlier we started attending when my oldest was 3. So we attended for a few years, and then CHAP invites people to volunteer and do things. So we would volunteer and, hand out programs or whatever it was that we were doing. And then I was my first homeschool co-op. We were part of a group that met at our church, moms who supported each other through like enrichment classes, things like that. And Bruce and Marianne Eagleson were part of it. That's where I met them. So Marianne, I know Zan, you know Marianne. She was my oldest gym class teacher. So that gives me a chuckle every time I think about that. But so that's where I met them, and they just were on the board of CHAP, and Bruce was the chair for a long time. And they came and visited and said, "Hey, how would you like to get involved in the board of CHAP?" And we loved going to the convention. We really enjoyed that time together. And we learned so much. Like, I cannot stress again how much we learned from the people who come and speak and share at the conventions. It just totally changed our lives. So we're like, yeah, we definitely want to invest in this organization because it was just a complete life and game changer for us. It just made all the difference. So we came onto the board, and then Bruce was, training Steve up, and then he handed the torch over to Steve, and Steve's been the chair now for coming on 10 years.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So lots of changes, just lots of changes. There's been like, being involved with homeschooling for so many years. There's lots of changes that happened from when we came on. We're kind of like at the tail end of the beginning group of homeschoolers. And we're like the bridge over into the new homeschoolers, and they're different. Like, homeschoolers are different. So, and COVID, ugh, don't even, let's not even go there. So, just working with the organization the whole way through that, it's really been a learning and growing experience. And I guess my husband and I just really love to learn. I guess we just keep sticking with it and learning. Okay, what's this look like now, God, and where are you taking us to this? And um, yeah, we stick with it because we just know the value. We just know the change, the absolute change. I would not be anywhere near who I am without all the things. With just homeschooling my family and being involved in leadership and all this stuff. God has done amazing things in my heart, through the opportunities that and the challenges that he has brought me to and brought me through. And yeah, and the team that we have now, they are in the same place. Like, it has done the same things that for them. And so what we're working together as a team is just such a joy. To think about supporting homeschoolers and saying, you can do this thing, you can do this thing, and let me help you, let me mentor you, let me talk to you, let me show you the way. So yeah, that's why. I mean, we can see the value, and we need a cheerleader, right? Everybody needs a cheerleader.
Every That's right. Everybody needs a cheerleader, and as we I just did Ginger's podcast with her, and we were talking about then that we need a community
Yeah,
too. It's so nice to have a community.
absolutely.
So Ginger, tell us about how you got started in podcasting and what your podcast is geared toward.
Okay, so we meet at the leaders conference in the fall. So we were at one of those, and I think someone must have been talking about it there. Someone must have been talking about maybe not podcasting, but videos, like using live video on Facebook and stuff like that. And we're all kind of like, I don't know, it's this new thing. Know about this video thing. And at the time, Denise Grove was our convention coordinator, and she and I are at the same co-op. We actually share the same birthday, and our daughters share the same birthday. So we have this kind of fun little thing going on. But we just said, let's just do this thing. Let's just do it. Let's make videos. And people in Pennsylvania are so terrified about the law because there's extra hoops to jump through than other states, so they don't understand it. And they, you can write it down as much as you want. You can mail it out as much as you want, but people still have questions. They're like,
Right. Once they get to the point where they're having to fulfill those requirements,
yeah.
it's real different than just reading
Reading
about
about
it.
it, exactly. So, and people just really respond to video, it's like that story, it's that connection. So we're like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And, my husband's like, well, there should be a plan, and there should be this. And I'm like, right, no, we're going to take a camera to Dee's house. We're going to turn it on, and then just start off. That's what we did, and it was great. It was a really fun journey, actually. We really enjoyed, the first year and a half, I think I did with her, really just tiny bits of, "This is the law. This is what it means. This is how you do it." And then encouraging things like, "This is how you homeschool multiple children. This is how you homeschool with toddlers. This is what you do in high school. This is what," so just those tiny little bits and pieces. And then COVID came, and, Dee had to go, unfortunately, so it just became my sole thing. But I just and God just laid on my heart. He said they need this encouragement. They need, I sometimes I'm just sharing biblical worldview parts, and sometimes we're talking about the law, and sometimes we're talking about helpful things with your homeschool and, like, learning styles or different things like this. So it's really whatever he brings to me, or if he brings someone to me that to interview and to share their story. So it's really, the whole point is to encourage people, to equip people to do homeschooling, to help them to feel connected to a community so that they know that there's others out there that are doing the same thing. So yeah, I mean, we started in 2018. So it's been a while. I've been doing it for a while, and really,
Wow. So you've been podcasting since 2018?
yeah. Mhm.
That is amazing. You must have been one of the first people in the
I
space.
guess, I don't
So,
know.
but I do know you are extremely creating. I think I was creative. I think I was reading in your bio that you do different voices and or maybe
Mhm,
involved in community theater or
mhm,
something like
mhm.
that. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about and this is we talk about this a lot on this podcast because we're facing freedom threats. I mean, genuine threats to our homeschool freedom for the first time, I think, seriously in about 2.5 decades in the homeschooling community. So tell us what CHAP does, what state organizations do around the country in terms of protecting freedom.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we're the legislative watchdog. I mean, we're the ones out there making sure that there's no threat to homeschooling in the state. So for us, for our organization, we have someone who specifically is looking through all the bills that hit the education committees in both the House and the Senate, reading through all of them. Anything else that has any of those buzzwords that kind of might be on the periphery, like hitting parental rights or homeschooling or things like that. We just make ourselves very aware of it. And I mean, part of the reason to have the podcast and other resources is when a threat comes, and it's gonna, because we're seeing it come, that the people are plugged in. And they're like, "Oh, there's this urgent message from CHAP. We really need to, call the legislator. We need to show up in Harrisburg and talk to them about it. We need to write emails. We need to so we stay connected. We introduce ourselves to each new committee when they form the new committees after elections and stuff like that, so that each member is aware that we exist. So that hopefully, the hope is that when something comes up that's homeschool related, they think, oh, we better reach out to CHAP and ask them what they think about this, or if there's any concerns, or that type of thing. So that is what we're doing. I'm sure that the other organizations in the other states are doing the same thing, but also bringing homeschoolers together at the Capitol. Not only, I mean, it is the most gorgeous Capitol building. I don't know if you've ever been to Harrisburg, but it is so gorgeous. And Teddy Roosevelt actually dedicated it, so we were there.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was
Yeah.
really cool. So just to bring people in, it's a great field trip, but also just to be there and to go to legislators and say, "Hi, we're high schoolers. We're real people. We exist
You
out here."
know, I did an article last year for the Homeschool Court Report, HSLDA's magazine, on Capital Days and how it's the most important field trip you'll ever take with your kids. And one of the things that I learned from interviewing legislators across the country is I had several of them say, is the only time we see families at our Capitol building. And that makes such a strong statement, I think, to see that these are real families that are being impacted by the laws they pass and that these are families that are doing well.
Absolutely. I just think that making yourself real to them, like, you can
Yes.
send
Mhm.
emails, you can even make phone calls, but man, when you are right in front of them, that when
That's
they think
right.
of you, they're doing something, they go, "Oh my goodness, the Wade family, and what they said when they were here last time. Oh my goodness," so that the impact in that, I think, is huge. I think it's more than what we realize it is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We don't give enough. we don't give enough credit
Yeah.
to how important that is in the legislative process. So I know we just have a few minutes left together, Ginger. If you had any advice for homeschool moms out there who are preparing to homeschool for the first time this year, and for veterans who have been at it and may just be tired, what would you tell them?
Well, I tell you what, there are so many different ways things that you could say here, but I think one of the biggest thing is just directed to mom. Like, take it easy on yourself. Give yourself grace. There's gonna be bumps. We talked before about gaps. There's gonna be gaps. There's gonna be things you miss. There's gonna be things you don't cover. Um, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay whether you're a veteran and all of a sudden you realize, "Oh my word, we didn't cover, XYZ." Or you're getting started and you're like, "How on earth am I gonna teach my child how to read?" Like, I don't even know. The important thing is that relationship building and that time with your child, and they're gonna know that you care for them and that you're loving them and that they are so important to you. So don't get too excited about, do I have the perfect curriculum? Because one does not exist. Do get too excited about, did we do enough? Because you can always do more, but that's not the answer. You graduate your kids and they come back and say, "Oh, I wish I had done more math." No, it's, I love that time that we spent doing, this or that or whatever it is that you do. So I just can't stress enough the relationship aspect of it all. And it's not just between you and your kids, it's between your kids too. Um, Steve
Yes,
and
that's
I,
so true.
Steve and I teach marriage and parenting classes at our church, and we were at a parenting class, and the one couple was like, "Your kids are like so amazing. Like they get along, they love each other, they serve. Why is that?" And I was like, "Well, do you want the commercial?" And they're like, "It's homeschooling, isn't it?" And I'm like, what was it like when you were in school? Like, how did you think about the older kids and the younger kids, and did it create bonds between you or not? And so that's like what I just want to share. Parents, if you want your kids to have relationship, it's the best place to build relationship between your kids. There's the other places, even going to private school, it just kind of tears that apart in this relationship. So if you're getting started, I know it feels really scary. Get your toes in there, get your feet in the water, one step at a time. Just keep going. And veteran moms, keep on keeping on. Like I was saying earlier, you've poured and poured and poured, and now is coming the benefits, right? Now is coming, and you can rejoice in that and be happy. And I'll tell you what, when you graduate that last one, or even as you're getting closer to the end of it, don't run away and disappear with all of your expertise and all of the skill that you have. Stay plugged in, whether that means just locally mentoring and being connected with the homeschoolers that are near to you, or if it's getting involved with an organization like CHAP, where you can support the events that we have or the resources that we put out. But you have so much life experience and you have so much to give to the homeschooling community that, oh, it'd be just such a shame for, to walk away and not share that. So keep on keeping on. You can, and, lean on Jesus. Lean on Jesus. He is the foundation for everything that you're going to be doing. And honestly, on those days when the bus goes by and you say, "That looks pretty good," I think, "I'm going with my kids on that bus." He's the reason. That relationship is the reason that you're going to keep on keeping on.
Amen. Well, Ginger, thank you so much for being here today. I know you have a child you need to pick up at camp, and I don't want to keep you, but tell people where they can find you if they're interested in CHAP or your podcast or whatever.
Yeah, sure thing. So the main page for CHAP is chaponline.com. So chaponline.com. My podcast, the easiest place to find it is on YouTube. So we're like at CHAP, Homeschool Pennsylvania 5953, which is super long. If you look for Chatting with CHAP, and that's the chatting with a little apostrophe, no G, you'll find me too. So, and on there in the header of our YouTube channel, if you click on more, you find all of our websites. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Homeschoolpennsylvania.org is our law knowledge base. So if you have a law question, that is the place to go for everything that you need to get your paperwork in and all that stuff started. But yeah, there's lots of resources out there for you. And if you have a question or, comment on any of my stuff, write into us. I would be more than happy to answer your questions.
Well, let me just reiterate what Ginger said. Regardless of where you live, reach out to your state organization so you can be a part of continuing to build a freedom network, and it's a support community for you. So you can find your state organization at hslda.org. They have a special section dedicated to the state organizations, and also homeschoolfreedom.com. You can find the organization in your state, or reach out to homeschoolers around you, and they're probably able to tell you that. Before we leave, I just also want to say, if you need help getting started, you can talk to one of our homeschool consultants with BJU Press Homeschool, and you can find that at homeschoolhelp.com/map, and click on your state to find out a consultant near you. These are homeschooling moms themselves who can help you find not only the right curriculum, but they'll answer your questions about homeschooling and pray with you, offer the kind of support that Ginger has been talking about. So thank you all so much for being with us. As always, you can find me at zantyler.com and on social media. And thank you for being with us. We pray that God continues to bless you in your homeschooling journey. Until next time, bye.